Hi everybody, welcome very much to the channel. Today we are here to talk about the gifts of Libra. Thank you very much for watching, your support is greatly appreciated. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content and if you want more astrology and spirituality content, and use the links and the link tree down below on the description to find more of my content and to find my services and to know how to book them with me. So let's today talk about the gifts of Libra. How can you, as a Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Saturn, because Saturn is exalted in Libra, how can you expand or just have a bit easier flow of energy, thoughts, emotions, communications, relationships, and ways to analyze? So, first, we gotta look at our natal chart, right? At our zodiac whiteboard chart. And as you can see, Libra over here in the black or with the black lines on it, as well with Gemini and Aquarius. Because Libra is an air sign, cardinal air, Aquarius and Gemini are also air signs. So they share a main theme, but they do it in different ways. And what is that main theme? Is to think, communicate, analyze, and socialize in logic, detached, cold, and flexible and light ways. That doesn't mean they don't care about things or about people, they do, and sometimes a lot. But they always are able, not always, but many times, are able, all the air signs, not just Libras, right? They are able to distance themselves or graduate relationships, right? Some people have a mix of relationships. Certain people have very defined, oh, that person is co-worker, that person is neighbor, that person is not friend. But air signs, they can do that, all of that together in a more smooth way. They can put some distance, not in an extreme way, but they can put some distance between themselves and the relationships, and they can distinguish in a logic and flexible way different types of relationships. Even if you spend more time or the same amount of time with two different people, your relationship might be more important with one than the other, just because of that distance and logical way to go about relationships. In specific, Libra, because Libra is ruled by Venus and it was born out of the seventh house. So it has everything to do with relationships, values, pleasure, commitment, beauty, sophistication, right? But that's not the only thing Libras can do, right? Or that's not the only focus, better saying. And to achieve all the parts of the Libra potential, we must use the other air signs as gifts to help do the same element air, but in different ways. In a more fixed way, aka Aquarius, and in a more mutable way, aka Gemini. But it's not just about the gifts, it's about the path into the gifts and then out of the gifts. So here, with the lines in blue, if you can distinguish, we have the squares and then Aries as the opposition of Libra. So the squares of Libra is Cancer over here, cardinal water, and Capricorn over here, cardinal earth. And those will be the main learning lessons that will allow you to achieve the gift or will teach you to use the gift, right? So if you have Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Saturn in Libra, all the way over here, let's start our journey over there, right? So if you have Sun in Libra, it means you like to initiate new actions, expressions, or visions that deal with new, light, and sophisticated thoughts, ideas, and ways to communicate that deal with your values or somebody else's values. If you have Moon in Libra, it means you like to initiate new, logical, and sophisticated ways to talk about your feelings and emotions, or you're attracting people that they need you to put their feelings and your feelings in new and logical, sophisticated ways. If you have Libra rising, it means that you are personally invested into creating balance with you and your relationships on a personal level. If you have Venus in Libra, it means you like to relate, commit, and love new. I was about to say new things, but you can love the same thing, but you are able to keep it fresh. You're able to bring new ways to think, communicate, and analyzing about it or in it, the things that you love. You are able to keep the things that you love and commit to fresh by coming up with new ways to think, communicate, and analyze about it, how you value it, or how you think others have value on it. And if you have Saturn in Libra, Saturn is exalted in Libra, so you might be too serious, you might create too many limits and boundaries, or you might be too realistic about your relationships, what you commit to, and just the way that you socialize and interact in new and sophisticated ways with the world. Right, so here we go, Libra, over here, no, over here, Libra over here, and then what's the next step after Libra? It's Scorpio, right? So you start by creating new ways to think, communicate, and analyze in more sophisticated ways, and then we go into getting fixed, consistent, or stubborn in your own emotions, feelings, deep desires, motivations, passion, aggressiveness, and frustration, right? And then after that, we move into Sagittarius, where you have an opportunity to create new logical and sophisticated ways to be mutable and adaptable with your creativity, imaginations, visions, illusions, and spiritual belief systems. And then we arrive to Capricorn, the first square, the first learning process. And here Libras have to learn how to do their own thing, like just be themselves, but now initiate more realistic, more private, more serious, and more business-minded, status-minded ways to relate, to have relationships, to have limits and boundaries between them, their values, the things that they value, and how they think others value themselves and the things that they value, right? Also, learning how to be more ready to do things, to go to work, to struggle a little bit, to sacrifice a little bit, right? And this is very important because Scorpio will ask you to go deep within yourself. Sagittarius will ask you to share those testimonies, and then you make a real network that you can support and be supported by, right? And then we go into the first gift of Libra, Aquarius, fixed air, ruled by Saturn and Aquarius and Uranus. So this gift right after an Earth learning process, the gift of fixed air, and Earth has a lot of fixed energy, so that's an evolution, a lighten up of the load and reaching a better space to use your element, to use the air energy, but now more serious, especially because both Capricorn and Aquarius are both ruled by Saturn. So it's kind of the same thing as in Capricorn, but now because you went through Capricorn and you initiated those realistic ways, now you can be fixed about it. Now you can be consistent. And not only that, we add a little bit more, which is the newness, uniqueness, rebelliousness, or being rebel, and the innovation of Uranus. So you take those limits and boundaries, networks and associations, and realistic ways to do business or relate that you initiated in Capricorn, and then you make it more consistent and or stubborn in how you think, communicate, and analyze in your own unique way about reality, structure, infrastructure, the world, and society in general, by bringing to you and to your relationships and to the things that you value a sense of uniqueness, individuality, change, and rebelliousness, right? And that's your first gift. That is confidence, structure. You are consistent. Imagine you expressing something new or in a new way and somebody thinks you wrong or somebody is attacking you. If you learned Capricorn right, now you can use the gift of Aquarius to be sure. Even though you might not have the answer right now, you are sure in your ability to come up with new ideas, and you are sure that you can complete that idea, you can complete that point, and deliver a unique, real, and consistent perspective about you, the world, the infrastructure, or values. You know what I'm saying? And then we move from that first gift to an in conjunction in Pisces. Because then, now you feel more confident, you feel more stable, you feel more structured in thinking, communicating, and analyzing in unique and different ways, right? But now you might be too connected. You might want to grow too much. You might want to expand too much. And there it comes, the in conjunction with Pisces, mutable water. So you might misunderstand how to mix and mingle, how to be adaptable to yours and others' dreams, illusions, imaginations, trauma, emotional charges, feelings, emotions, spiritual belief systems, or deep spiritual purposes that keeps you in spaces even though they are toxic, right? And that comes from you being fixed, or others as well seeing you fixed in a certain mindset, in a certain value, because then they want to add their own 2 cents, they want to add their own dreams and illusions to you, because now they see you being creative, being fresh, and making things lighter, but still real and consistent after the gift of Aquarius. So they want you to do that for them. While it's not necessarily true, you can provide the system, you can show them, you can be an example, but they gotta do it. They gotta bring their own bread. And that's where the misunderstanding can come in. Either you or them are expecting you to provide the bread, the table, and the fork and the knife, right? But you already gave the table, you already gave the fork and the knife. Now they must bring the bread in order to something to be done. So this misunderstanding of Pisces might come from others misunderstanding you, or misunderstanding why or what you value. And then you gotta clear it out using the gift of Aquarius, or moving on to a big opportunity, the opposition with Aries, right? And here you're gonna learn or be forced to be extremely individual and unique, and to be more passionate, more aggressive, more frustrated, more motivated, or shut the fuck up, right? Because Aries is still cardinal. It's still about initiating, innovating, refreshing, and being creative. But it's fire. So it's way more about doing and showing and being something, rather than talking, thinking, or connecting to something. So you might be aggressive to protect your values. You might need to be going through some misunderstandings, or looking like full scenarios, because others can't understand what you are doing, because what you are doing at this part of your journey hasn't accumulated yet, so they can't see it, but you see it, because you are it, you are doing it, right? You are working on it, or you have this feeling, you have this passion, or this aggressiveness, so you want to change something. You're already changing, right? And talking will not be enough. Showing something or thinking about something, showing your thought patterns might not be enough. It's time to do it and keep doing it, even if the external world does not support you and they might be against you. But you gotta create new images to keep you on track. And you might be forced to be a bit more lonely, or to select way more your relationships and partnerships. Alright? Then we move from Aries to Taurus, the second misunderstanding the second in conjunction, but here you also have some Venus energy. Because Venus is exalted in Pisces and rules Taurus as well. So the misunderstandings from Libras actually come from their own ruler, from their own main energy, which is relating, loving, committing, beauty, sugarcoating, making things look cute and smooth, right? And this time with Taurus, right after the opposition, right? It's because it's asking you to be fixed and consistent in your own way to have stability, structure, safety, and privacy in your life. But after Aries, it might be complicated to know the right place, people, and things and values to do just that, to be fixed and consistent in a realistic way, to dedicate yourself, to support that or be supported by those things. Because in Aries, or through the Aries aspect of your life, you are creating new thoughts and ideas. You are creating new passions, new motivations. So, because you just created them, there was not enough time for you to know what are the right ones. So you just gotta do it. Take what you learned from the opposition, from the big opportunity, and do it. And through time, through your experience, wisdom, and knowledge, you will find the right people, places, and things that you can be fixed, consistent, realistic, and to support and be supported by. But you gotta throw yourself out there. Of course, you're still gonna have some logic and some calculative energy, but you can't wait for the right moment. You can't wait for the right things. You gotta create those things in Aries and then fixate yourself in Taurus for a long period of time that is enough for you to know if it's the right or wrong thing to be fixed on. And then we have the second gift of Libra, which is Gemini, right? And it comes right after Taurus, boop. So that means that after you did just what I said, you got fixed in a circumstance, on a value, on a pleasure, on a desire, on a circumstance, now you have the gift to be mutable and adaptable with how you think, communicate, analyze, socialize, and relate. And also, you have a gift to detach, separate, and be a bit more cold. So that means that after you create those new things in Aries and you spend a long time in them, now you know, now you're wiser, now you're more intelligent, now you're more aware of your surroundings, right? Either mentally, in terms of relationships, physically, spiritually, emotionally, now you know what's going on. So now you have the power to expand, to bring other elements to complement, or to just abandon, literally, right? And that will go into the next square here in Cancer. But let's talk about the gift of Gemini first, right? Because as we saw a few moments ago, the misunderstandings of Libra come from their own energy of Venus. And Gemini brings this gift to have the courage, or just don't even mind, to be a bit more detached, to be a bit more separated, to be a bit more cold. And that will allow you to leave behind the fixed, real circumstances that are giving you security and privacy that is not right for you. And not only you are able to separate from them, it will not be so hurtful. You will not care or think so much about the things or the people or the pleasures that you are leaving behind. You're just gonna feel so light, you're just gonna feel with way more space and energy to think and communicate about better things for you, about your own values, about your own creativity, that you might look back and feel nostalgic, but don't feel bad or guilty, right? So the gift of Gemini, in general for Libras, is the ultimate power to detach. And even though you are separated from that scenario, you still can incorporate those things that you went through, even if they were toxic, and be mutable about it to allow you to expand how you think, communicate, and analyze in logical and sophisticated ways. And then we have the square of Cancer here, right? Where you are learning how to be more creative and initiative with your feelings, emotions, and spiritual purposes. And like I said, with the power of detaching from Gemini, right? Now you have to learn how to feel right. It's not that simple, right? Because now it's time to create a place of comfort, of security, emotionally speaking, spiritually speaking, right? And like I said, the gift of Gemini to Libra is the power to separate. And even though you might not be so emotionally attached to something, it might still hurt, or it might still hurt to others. You might still be nostalgic. You might be perhaps too attached to something, right? And it's still difficult to let go. It's still difficult to expand to somewhere else, to outgrow that situation. But Cancer is asking you to no, now it's time to attach to something. Now it's time to be emotional about something. It's time to be vulnerable, but not with the things that you detached from, right? So instead of feeling bad or creating new toxic feelings about what we left behind, let's create these new spiritual purposes about the places that we expanded into, or about the new thoughts and ideas that we created because we alchemized and utilized the fixed circumstances, thoughts, and ideas that we were previously in, aka Taurus into Gemini. So the learning process of Cancer here to Libras is to learn how to be more vulnerable, learn how to initiate new emotions and feelings without being overwhelmed, uncomfortable, or just perturbed by it. And if you didn't use the Gemini gift correctly, you're going to be initiating those new emotions and feelings about things that should be here, and you were carrying them to here. So here it will be a bit more catastrophic. Here it will be a bit more intense and a bit more chaotic, because here now you will be really forced to emotionally suffer, because the detachment, or the new comfortable spaces, the new juicy spiritual spaces that you are going into, you're going to carry certain things that you should left behind, and those things will grow with you. Those things will get comfortable, juicy, and cozy with you. And then you gotta really kill them instead of just detach and get lighter about them, right? But after that square, after that learning process, so basically the Cancer square is learning how to use the Gemini gift to detach, to expand, and utilize your thoughts and ideas, so then you can create new spiritual and emotional comfort spaces. While the square of Capricorn is before the gift of Aquarius. So you see the difference? So first, you go through the learning process of Capricorn, you learn how to be more realistic, so then you can be more unique in Aquarius. But the other square is after the gift. So you receive the gift first to be mutable, more wide, more reach more spaces, and then you learn how to be more emotional and vulnerable, right? And after that, we have the gift of Leo, the opportunity to be fixed in your own expressions, feelings, and visions about yourself, the world, and how the world see you. So there's an opportunity to be confident and to be sure, or the opportunity to be a pushover and always chase validation. And lastly, but not least, before we complete the journey and initiate a new cycle, it's Virgo, a fatal attraction, making every mathematical exercise, aesthetically speaking, to make sure that the cycle and you are going in the right direction. Okay? With Virgo, after Leo, after the confidence or the seek for validation, it's time to be mutable about how you internally process the world, your thoughts, and your relationships in a more logical, realistic, looking for safety and security way, right? And after you even go further with that and make it a routine and pattern, you can finally see if those things are going right or wrong. You can finally see if you are using your energy of cardinal air ruled by Venus in the best way. Are you learning all the steps? Are you using the gifts correctly? Are you creating new values or new ways to think and communicate about them? Are you initiating new trends in your personal cycle or in the world? Are those contributing to your routine and pattern? Are those making your health good? Are those allowing you to go for your dreams in a balanced way? Are you a balanced individual? Do you have a balanced life? All that will be answered right before you initiate your new cycle again. You know what I'm saying? So it will be everything for today. Those are the gifts of Libra. So, quick resume, quick summary before the gift of Aquarius, before the gift of being realistic and unique, you gotta learn how to be yourself, do what you do, but in a more realistic and business-like way. And after the gift of Gemini, after the gift of reaching new spaces and being more mutable with your thoughts and ideas, you gotta learn how to be more personal, vulnerable, and emotional. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate if you leave a like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I see you next time. As a Cloud Surfer, surfing out.